Hey guys, Coach Mike here with The Fit Source. And today we're answering that age-old question, cardio or strength training? The good news is we do fitness, so we have your answer. Welcome back to Fit Source TV, where we discuss the 4 things that drive your fitness and health: movement, mindset, nutrition, and physicality. Thankfully, you don't only have to hear my voice today. I'm here with
Coach Jenna.
And Coach Ed.
And in this week's episode, we're diving into the reason people join gyms: to reach a health or fitness goal. But the underlying question is, what should be your fitness solution? So thankfully, I have Coach Jenna here to help us kind of sort things out. So what happens with people when they're trying to figure out what to do for health and fitness, Jenna?
There's so much information out there, especially on the interwebs. It's kind of hard to figure out what to do. Like, what's going to be beneficial for you? There's HIIT, Peloton, strength training, walking, cycling, other things. Too much information out there. So as coaches, we get this question a lot. We have to start with, what's your goal? So do you want to lose weight, improve body composition, get stronger, move better, feel better, look better? What do you want?
Yeah, once you think about your goal, like, first thing really is understand that it doesn't have to be just one thing. You can want to accomplish a few of these things or even all of them, but we're going to want one of these primary goals to drive your whole process. Before we dive into like what to choose, understand that weight loss and body composition are not the same thing. So if we take weight loss first, all that really means is you're going to weigh less. You're going to lose weight, and we don't know exactly what type of weight you're going to lose. So if you want to lose weight, I can't sit here and tell you you need to strength train. Strength training is the primary type of exercise that we recommend to people, at least more often than not. And you don't need to do it. So if you want to just lose weight, go out for a walk, go out for a jog, take a Zumba class with a friend and focus on improving your diet. And at certain points throughout your process, make sure you eat in some sort of safe calorie restriction. If you move more and you restrict calories sometimes, eat closer to your maintenance calories other times, you're going to lose weight. The idea, though, when it comes to strength training is if you want to change body composition, meaning you want to change how your body is composed. So by that, we mean you want to add some muscle, you want to drop some fat. If you want to do that, plus you want to combine it with some of these other goals, especially moving better, feeling better, and getting stronger, then strength training definitely needs to be a part of your process.
Let's end the show. Screw it.
Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week.
Bye.
Don't go. Stay here. Since we have awkward transitions and you decided to stay, we want to make sure we understand that we're not saying one of these is better than the other. Your friend that lost a bunch of weight doing Zumba or lost a bunch of weight going for walks on their lunch break, or insert any other activity here, if that was their goal, they win. It's the right thing, and that's why they swear by it. So first thing is to understand that we're not saying it's wrong. We just want to throw that out there. And the second thing is to understand that if all you want to do is be a smaller version of yourself, meaning you want to lose weight, but you're very happy with the shape of your body, then whatever works for you works for you. If you want to change the shape of your body, that's where strength training really comes in.
And Jenna, one of the things that Ed was talking about was losing weight. I just want to clarify that a little bit. Like, if people are losing weight and seeing the scale go down, what does that mean? Or what could that mean?
Here, it's better to look at the trend over time. So you need at least 6 weeks worth of information of your daily weight. Sometimes if someone has, a large BM or is dehydrated or, drank a lot of alcohol or had a big meal or something like that, your weight can fluctuate about 5 pounds. So you really need that trend over time.
Before we move on, I just want to kind of touch back on something I said before, the idea of changing the shape of your body. You can't overall change your body type. So I'll talk specifically about men. Some men carry all of their extra weight in their midsection. Some men have more evenly distributed fat. Some men trend towards having like longer, leaner limbs. Some are like shorter and stockier. You can't change the fundamental way your body's composed, but we can kind of maximize the shape that you're born with. And we can make sure that you feel a little more confident about yourself by adding muscle.
Yeah, Ed, same thing goes for women's body types. You could have that leaner, taller, kind of, I guess, thinner look, or be a little bit more stocky and muscular, or be somewhere in between. But again, you can maximize, I guess, what you're born with.
So it sounds like strength training should be your focus if your goal is weight loss plus something else. We want to improve bone density. We want to get stronger. We want to move better and feel better. We recommend for our members that they focus on resistance training. And why is strength training the recommended choice for our members? It's because we work with busy adults. We work with people primarily over 40 who have children and busy lives and busy careers. And so they have to make the most of what little time they have to take care of themselves. And resistance training, in our opinion, is the best way to do that. So we have our resident strength training expert on staff, Coach Ed McKay, here to fill you in on where to start.
Now I'm nervous. Most of the people we work with either come in having not worked out in a while, or they had a bad experience in the past and they've kind of shied away from exercise, or maybe they just never were people that were gym people. So if you're one of those people, think of all your qualities in terms of training as just things that we need to add to fill up your bucket. So your whole training process is your bucket. And when you first start off, the bucket's empty. So if you want to start to make progress, the number one thing is don't do anything that hurts. And then from there, we're just going to make gradual progression. We're going to go, for some people, from body weight exercise to weighted. People that start off walking might walk at a more brisk pace and may eventually start to run and do sprints. So if you want a simple answer, we just ask you to honor the skills and get good at the basics, and understand that we want to keep this part of your process, at least in the beginning, simple, because there's other things we want to focus on.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because unfortunately, we're not going to get anywhere if we're not managing our stress, our recovery, and our nutrition. So making sure you're getting enough quality food, making sure you're getting enough low intensity exercise like walking or non-competitive play, which we've talked about, and making sure that you have recovery strategies that work for you. So are you getting enough sleep? Are you managing your relationships? Stuff like that.
We just said all of that very matter of fact. It is all very simple, but it's a lot of things to focus on. So when it comes to movement, if you don't even have the time and energy to focus on strength training, start with some of the more gentle recovery work that Jenna talked about. Going for a walk, focusing on non-competitive play, just sitting less. Put energy into any part of this that will allow you to build some momentum. And also think of this as, we talked about the bucket, but there's also kind of that, I don't know if we call it the bucket or the cup, but there's that little container, we'll call it, of motivation. And putting the right inputs in will allow you to get more motivated. So if you don't have the motivation to focus on nutrition, then focus on one of the other things that helps you stack small wins. If you don't have the motivation to start to strength train, pick another type of movement. Just start with one of these things that we're talking about, and it can help you start to layer the next thing on.
Yeah, like we started the episode, a lot of people think that they have to do something super special to start to change their body forever. And I think that's one of the things that we talk about a lot, is the pressure that people put on themselves to reach their goal. If you give yourself time to actually do some of this stuff and don't poo-poo it, or don't think it's stupid because it's not something you saw on television. I didn't see walking on television. Is it going to help? People stigmatize things, and they want results now. And so they think about the extreme solution as opposed to the solution that's going to be the right one for them over time. So keeping it simple in the beginning, focusing on some of the recovery strategies that Coach Jenna talked about, and then keeping strength training very simple is a great way to not only help you in the beginning, but to help you build habits in your life that are going to carry you forever, as opposed to just, fixing you for the next, 6 weeks or something.
Before we go into the basics on strength training, I want you to really take a minute to focus on the thing we're kind of beating around the bush on, is the idea that you might try to do some of this and it might not work. It doesn't mean the process doesn't work for you. It means that either you tried to drive further down the road when you weren't even on the road yet, or you're just taking the wrong path. So, if I use my own personal example recently, I'm a coach. If you didn't know, I've been strength training pretty much my whole life. And this, since the whole pandemic started, you know, I had various phases of struggling with my workouts to the point where I just wasn't getting anywhere. I was actually backtracking. So I just peeled it all away. For the first time in probably my life, or at least my adult life, I wasn't strength training. I made my goal to focus on walking. I made my goal to focus on getting better sleep. I started doing super, super simple things for nutrition, focusing on drinking enough water, then just getting enough vegetables, just simple things like planning ahead. And I still wasn't consistently strength training. I eventually worked to the point that I would do it a little bit. And then I got to the point where I decided to actually cut out for a period of time alcohol. And that was the last kind of straw that, I guess it didn't break the camel's back because that's negative, but that was the last thing that allowed me to now dive head first into a strength training program. None of those things by themselves would work. And just diving into a strength training program for this, at least this time in my life, wasn't working. So I just put energy somewhere that I could be successful. And I didn't do it by myself. I did it with the help of a coach. I don't know where she is on the screen.
She's on either side of you.
The point is, there's no set path, and focusing on something you can feel successful, even if it's the thing that seems too easy, for a lot of people is going to be what allows them to do the things that they know will be impactful in the future.
Totally. I mean, you were talking about motivation, and I think, you know, again, going back to extreme examples of exercise or trying to do something that's going to get them results right now, people are also waiting for that, like, you know, strike from God or strike from above that's going to like give them the motivation to do the things. And I think that's perfect what you said, like you know, and you take pride in being a coach and being physically active and being able to lift and doing all those things. And for you to kind of like humble yourself and take a step back and say, okay, like, what do I really need to do now to help me work towards my goals, because the way that I've been doing it is not working for me. I think a lot of people should just realize that even professionals struggle. So don't put too much pressure on yourself to get it done immediately. And don't think that you have to do the extreme thing, that those small things lead to bigger wins. And like Ed said, it went from walking and working on, you know, vegetable intake to cutting out alcohol and now finding a training solution that works for you. So, you know, take a lesson from a professional here, ladies and gentlemen, and don't overcomplicate it for yourselves. You can start simple and work your way to bigger things.
That's awesome, Ed. And your coach sounds like she's really, really smart, funny, and kind. Wow. Speaking of keeping things simple, getting back to strength training and what you should actually do, like which movements, keep your catalog simple. So the movements you're going to do, not anything crazy. The best thing to do if you're a beginner or if you're just getting back into it, like Coach Ed, is to pick one upper body move and one lower body move.
Yeah, we call that non-competing exercises. So you can think of movements like squat and pull, hinge and push. And that's where you can start. It doesn't have to be crazy. And then adding other auxiliary exercises in there, like carrying or crawling, medicine ball work. All these things can be just put together in no necessarily crazy order or combination to help you get results in the beginning.
And the cool part is, as you get into more detailed programming, it all comes back to this anyway. Like my workout, my first day of the week is a squat and a floor press. It's just a squat and a pull and a push, you know, and it doesn't have to be this perfect combination. Just pick two moves, do a row with a TRX and deadlift a kettlebell. Like just pick two things and put them together and you're going to get stronger. And then when you have the time and energy, do some of these other things we mentioned, carry some heavy stuff, spend some time on the ground. It's not complicated, but we understand that the idea of getting started is overwhelming for people.
So Ed just mentioned a few of the exercises that he's been utilizing lately. Some of the other exercises you can think about if we're thinking about squatting, we can also think about lunging or split squatting. We can think about deadlifts or kettlebell swings. Ed said heavy carries, which we just can't emphasize enough, spending time on the ground, doing crawling and different planking exercises, push-ups fall into that category, and you can't forget your rows. So any kind of hanging, any kind of exercise where you're pulling an object towards you, just putting together combinations of those movements is going to be super effective in the beginning.
So before we think about what strength training will do for you, we kind of have to think about how people will mess this up. A lot of times, and this will happen to coaches too, is we overcomplicate the process. We're not consistent enough, or we don't own the basics before we move on. With all that said, Ed, what do you think strength training will do for you?
If we just kind of put aside the fact that strength training is going to help us, whether you think of it as build muscle or tone, in other words, help you change slightly the shape of your body. If you put that part aside, strength training is just going to help you control your life. It's something that allows you to be more independent. It's something that allows you to get up and down off the floor more easily. If you don't want to do that like old man or old woman groan when you get up off the ground because your kids want to play, you might want to consider doing some strength training. It helps a lot of people be in less pain. So any of those like quality of life things that we kind of complain about as we get older, and by kind of complain, I mean bitch about a lot. If you strength train, a lot of those things aren't a problem, and you learn a lot about your body so you can take control and you can know the things that you're capable of. I know for me, playing with my kids is always enjoyable, but like I'm the toy, I'm the jungle gym. When I'm done with work, they want to go crazy. And it's interesting as I've gotten deeper into this process, like sometimes they're sitting there being a little like lazy, want to watch TV or play by themselves. And I'm like, come on, you want to go play basketball? Do you want to do something? It just gives you back your vibrance. It gives you back your energy. It gives you back your quality of life.
So Coach Ed just painted the picture that strength training can enrich and improve your life. But where do you start? The first thing you need to do is commit to a schedule. If it helps, put a reminder in your phone that you're going to strength train 1 to 4 times a week and stick to that.
The goal here isn't to get a high score. I mean, 1 to 4 times a week means exactly that. 1, 2, 3, or 4 times a week. You don't get bonus points. We're not going to give you like a big gold star because you got 3 or 4 times. So if you shoot for 3 or 4 and you find yourself consistently falling short, maybe try 1 or 2. In the beginning, anything you can do consistently is important. As you get deeper into the process, it does change. I just had a conversation actually with one of our coaches, and we were talking about the fact that we get in our own way. If you're committing to 4 times a week and you consistently find yourself falling short and that's the number you want, well then, yeah, you do have to get specific and you do have to scratch and claw and fight to hit that consistency. But in the beginning, anything done consistently is going to benefit you.
Yeah, like Jenna said, a lot of people will try to mess this up and overcomplicate it. Like Ed just said, 4, okay, yeah. But I think I need 6. I think I need 6 days a week, or else I'm not gonna be able to do it. And then I'll take Sunday off because it's the Lord's Day. No, don't do that. Stick to 1 to 4, put it in your schedule, make a note, find a partner, find a friend to work out with, whatever is going to help you commit to that schedule. And that might mean finding a community of people to work out with too. That's why we started this business, so we could get like-minded people together that have maybe similar exercise experience, or maybe people from all different backgrounds, but when they exercise safely together and they're doing something similar, you get that group atmosphere that we all get when we do things of, any activity together. Plus, we're all improving our lives and making ourselves stronger. So it's a really awesome camaraderie when you find an actual group of people to exercise with.
So again, if you're just getting started, keep it simple. Pick a lower body move, pick an upper body move, and a core move.
And remember that consistency is going to be the key to all of this. So whether you're thinking about doing something that we started the episode with and just doing gentle exercise while you manage the rest of your life, that's awesome. You still need to be consistent. And just to kind of round it out here, what's going to be more impactful for you in your life over time? Is it going to be the classic example of the person who, commits to the New Year's resolution kind of person who commits to this for 6 weeks, somehow they get like 70 workouts in 60 days, like who the heck knows how that works. And then they're so sore they can barely go up the stairs and their quality of life is diminished because they just have run themselves into the ground? Or is it going to be more beneficial to commit to that 1 to 4 days a week and keep doing that for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I mean, if you do twice a week, you have over 100 workouts for the year. And if you're doing basic strength training workouts consistently, you're probably starting to also walk more frequently. You're just being less sedentary, and you make some of the other changes that Coach Jenna talked about earlier, focusing on hydration, starting to maybe focus on your nutrition, focusing on stress reduction. If you make like, I don't know, 3 or 4 of the changes that we mentioned, you're going to be a very different person the next January 1st than you are this January 1st, if we're using the New Year's resolution example.
Guys, it really isn't that crazy. But we totally understand why people complicate it, why it seems impossible to put together. But that's why we put this show together for you. So thank you for joining us for FitSource TV. I'm very happy to be here with Coach Jenna and Coach Ed. And this is one of our favorite topics to talk about because we see every day all of our parents strength train. And we're happy that they do because we see how it makes their lives better. And we see also, my father has taken some time off from the gym and I see how that affects him too. So it goes both ways and we just want to help people find solutions for them to improve their lives.
Thanks for coming, friends. Coming, watching, staying.
Clicking.
Thanks for the focused clicking.
Yes. We release an episode every week of What's Fit TV, and we'll see you next time.
Later, friends.
Bye.